Seltzer.com. Get some 8% seltzer shipped right to your house. We got the peach, we got the watermelon, we got the pina colada, and the blue raspberry. We are currently live in over 300 stores in Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and the Outer Banks in North Carolina. And if you're heading out to the Major League ballparks this summer, make sure to check us out in the Miami Marlins Stadium, as well as Tropicana Field, home to the Tampa Bay Rays, as well as the Tampa Bay Rowdies. We are live inside all three stadiums. So if you're down in Florida this year, check us out. Go to hardafseltzer.com today and check your store locator or order them right to your house.
Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by GhostBed.com.
Yeah, welcome to Drinkin' Bros Week 6 College Football Pick'em Show, brought to you by MyBookie.com. Now more than doubling your first deposits. It's up to 110%. Damn it, that's a lot, dude. I get so stunned, I fumbled it. Fumbled the bag. Go to MyBookie.com, use the promo code Drinkin' Bros to double that deposits to 110% or more than double it. However you want to word that. That's not coming out right, Anthony?
No, you might be retarded.
110%. What do you say, though? Because it's more than double. I mean, it's 110%. That's a lot of fucking money, dude. What do you say for something like that? I had it all dialed in with doubling it up, and now I don't have it anymore.
110%.
All right. I mean, you got to give it 110%, I guess.
It's also good to give people a practical example.
Sure is.
So, for example, if you were to put $100 in, you would have
110 back. Boom.
So a total of
$210.
There we go.
Look
See,
at
now
that.
you've done it.
I have done it.
And people now can do math in a 10-base system. Congratulations.
You're welcome, guys. Not only a podcast host, but a very, very important educator in your lives. Quick note at the top of the show here. I've got a bunch of DMs from the listeners here. I had not heard the story until I looked it up last night, and they asked me if I spoke this into existence or trying to. Apparently, there's a bunch of rumors of Justin Fields going to the Falcons if the Bears lose this week. They're apparently going to blow up the team and try to trade Justin Fields, go after Caleb Williams in the draft because they'll have the first top 2 picks in the draft.
I'm not convinced they're going to go after Caleb Williams, but I think it's a good move to get to exchange. We talked about this yesterday, but if you can take regardless of how good Justin Fields might be at some point, he's not as good as having 3 first-round top 10 draft picks would be. Mm-hmm. No one is. Right. No player in the history of fucking football is, right?
Right.
So just the ability to build a team, especially if you were able to do what it took the Bengals 2 years to do, right, with Jamar Chase and Burrow, bring in like a crew that already knows each other, like a receiver, and because they need receivers, right? Mm-hmm. Chicago needs receivers.
They need everything.
If they were able to bring in like a top-line quarterback and his receiver, even if it was in the second round or something like that in the case of some of these other guys, this is something that hasn't been done before. I don't know that any team has ever had we've seen 3 first-round picks before, but usually one of them is like from a winning team, so it's like 28-32 or whatever the fuck, so who cares about that? But 3 top 10 picks, I like Justin Fields. I think he's probably going to be good in the NFL. In the right situation. I mean, the Bears have completely fucked him up.
Right. I think it would be smart on the Bears' part to get another pick.
And
I think,
and good for him, too.
Yeah, and good for him as well. Now, as far as how would I feel if he was the quarterback of the Falcons, look, in college, I didn't really know. He was a fantastic passer, didn't really run that much. And now you see him in the NFL, and he ran all the time, and he's great at running. So I think he's actually pretty fucking good. And I say give it a flyer at this point. There's no other pick that's really going to fall to you that's going to make a difference. I would give it a flyer and see what happens. The other part about this is if you're the Falcons, you drafted, well, if you got Justin Fields, then you would have 3 picks inside the top 10 offensively of Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and now Justin Fields. You can really find out if they're the fucking people that you thought they were, because now you have a quarterback there, and that's kind of all the Falcons are missing right now. They got a pretty good defense, and that's a division you could easily win. So do it if you can. I'd be fine with it. I did not hear a word about it, and then a bunch of listeners sent me some shit, and then I guess they were talking about it on ESPN as a hypothetical. Sure, why not? I think it'd be fucking fun. I hope they do it. I hate Desmond Ridder, so give it a shot. You know the rules, kids. We go over the wins and losses of last week, and then we'll give you the odds for this week. I said last week was a trap weekend. I bet on it anyways. I lost all of my money except for like 2 games. It was a fucking horrific week. So let's go through this train wreck, all right? Utah, Oregon State. I'd love to see this Utah team with Cam Rising. I didn't bet this game because I was unsure. 21-7 here. Not real impressed with Oregon State. Very impressed with Utah, and I would love to see that kid play. There is a rumor that he's going to come back for the UCLA game. Look, if Utah were to run the table with Cam Rising, I think the committee would overlook this one loss and put them in the CFP.
USC? Because they already played UCLA.
What's that?
They already played UCLA.
Yeah, I think
USC.
Yeah, it's USC. I apologize.
And to be honest, if you're gonna have, well, they play Cal next week.
Well, that's not going to matter. Their defense is so good. I think they'll be able to overcome Cal without Cam Rising.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to bring him back, either one of these next 2 games, Cal or USC is a good game to bring Rising back, provided he's healthy, because neither one of those teams. Well, Cal doesn't do anything in football, but
USC you got to keep up with.
USC doesn't play any fucking defense at all.
No.
Now you might lose that game if Rising isn't like on point. Mm-hmm. Because you do have to stay on schedule against USC. But they need him back and tuned up, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, before they play Oregon. Because that's a real game right there.
And here's the other thing.
Like Oregon's got, they have a good offense and a good defense. You got to play ball to fucking
And it's in back-to-back weeks. So you're looking at USC and then playing Oregon if you're Utah. But I think if they were to run the table, if he comes back, you would put them for sure in the CFP, and that's what would make sense to me. If he misses that game and you lose, because I don't think they'd be able to score enough points to keep up with Oregon. Their second-string quarterback sucks. In this game, I watched part of it. They ended up putting in their 3rd string at one point because they were desperate. Yeah. He got speared in the chest on a hit that was just violence, and then they ended up putting the other guy back in. But I think if he comes back, the CFP the committee would overlook that and put Utah in there. But we'll see what he's like when he actually does come back, because he hasn't played in a very long time now at this point. Georgia-Auburn won that one. That was one of my 2 wins, I think, of the week in college football. Again, shit week for me. This was 14.5. I don't know about Georgia, man. If it was a decently competent Auburn team, they could have beat them. They had a chance at the end.
I don't know. This is how I expected this game to go, to be honest. Auburn is a weird place to play. They give Georgia fits. Georgia was able to pull it out and stay undefeated. I'm fine with that.
Okay. I'm not, actually. I don't think they should be number 1. Michigan rolled. Big deal. It was Nebraska. They're doing exactly what they should do. They've looked great all year, and they continue to do so. Their first big test will come at Penn State, and we'll find out who that team really is. Because right now, their strength of schedule is dog shit. Next up, we got Kansas at Texas. This one surprised me. I had more faith in Kansas. I had money on the goddamn spread. I had
Texas
on the teaser.
And Texas defense is legit.
Also, Kansas' starting quarterback didn't play.
Yeah, he didn't play, and Texas defense is good. It's really good. It's why I don't think
we're gonna find out this week.
Yeah, I don't think certain guys that are somewhat in the hunt for Heisman right now have any real shot at it because their defenses are too good, right? Like I think Penix is the outlier right now. He's the best. He would win if the season ended today. He would win. Jaden Daniels is not very far behind him at LSU, and he's going to continue to stack up numbers because LSU has the worst defense they've had in like 50 fucking years. It's terrible.
Well, he doesn't have a choice but to put points on the board.
Same thing with Caleb Williams. He's going to stay in that race because his defense sucks. But when you get down, like Carson Beck is 8th in the country at Georgia in fucking passing yards right now. Who would have fucking thunk it? I mean, when's the last time Georgia had a fucking high-powered offensive guy like that? It's been a very long time. Some of these other guys, like Bo Nix, he'll fall off eventually because Oregon can play defense. Sam Hartman will fall off eventually, I think, because Notre Dame plays low-scoring games as we saw in Ohio State. So some of these guys...
And Duke.
Duke as well, yeah. Some of these guys, Quinn Ewers is another one. He'll fall off eventually too because they just don't need them to be out on the field running the score. They're going to run the ball more to try to control the clock. It's just the way it is, right?
Yep.
So I at this point in the season, I'd be shocked if anybody catches Penix because he's so far ahead already. Except for on touchdowns, which Caleb Williams is destroying everybody on.
Yep.
So to me, it's a two-man race between those two guys right now, specifically because neither team has a particularly good defense, and the quarterback is also great. Right?
And they play each other, so that game will be really fucking fun.
That's going to be like a fucking 50-45 game, right? Mm-hmm. Or something crazy.
But the over-under might be 96 in that game. Bob, to your point about the quarterback, the only disadvantage of doing a show in the early on in the week and then betting this early in the week is I didn't know Kansas's quarterback was going to be out.
He was a game time scratch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You could have done the show that morning and you wouldn't have known.
Right.
Like literally, I was turned on the TV and was like, "Oh, what the fuck?
Yep.
Why is a bean or whatever?"
And there was nothing I could do at that point. I just looked at my slips and just fucking threw my hands in.
There's only one Bean, all right, and it's Kobe Bean Bryant, motherfucker.
Sure is, dude.
Who is this asshole? Kansas. Fuck Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah. Not a big fan.
Let's go Antifa that place.
Exactly.
Not Manhattan, Lawrence.
Oh, is it Lawrence?
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Kansas State's in Manhattan, yeah.
Excuse me.
Next up,
we burned down the wrong town, guys.
We did. Sorry about it. Move on. Let's go back to Atlanta. Burn that place down. Next up, we got Penn State against Northwestern. Penn State and Northwestern were tied at half, and then Penn State rolled in the second half. It happens. I'm not going to look too far into this. Again, the one that's circled here is Penn State, Michigan.
It was a classic sleepy Northwestern game for the first half.
I'm sure. Ohio State's had those weird games there. It's a strange place sometimes. You're right on the fucking, that wind. You're right on that lake there. Good luck. Whatever. Penn State rolled. They covered. Won that one.
They gave up 175 total yards. I'm fine with that.
I did not win the next game. That was Washington and Arizona. God damn, man. What is the deal with Arizona? Like, what happened there? Herm Edwards left, and now they're fucking good?
Well, now they're not giving the...
Wrong team.
Was that Arizona State?
Yeah.
Arizona's solid. They've been kind of hitting the transfer portal pretty hard.
Okay.
They got a decent offense.
Yeah, look, it was 31-24. Nowhere near covering that spread. I lost. Penix had another good game in that, 363. But not fun for a gambling man like myself.
Well, he had no tutties, though.
No.
So,
but 363, not bad.
And then next game, this is the shootout. This is going to be a typical against another team with a good offense. This is going to be a typical USC game this year as well. I don't think anybody's ever won 2 Heisman trophies, right?
Archie Griffin from Ohio State is the only person that's ever done it.
And that was like in the 60s or something?
70s, yeah.
70s?
74, 75, I believe.
Caleb Williams, if things continue this way, because he's got 5 more touchdowns than anybody else. Mm-hmm. He's 200 yards back, but he's got 5 more touchdowns. USC doesn't play any defense. I mean, Colorado is Colorado. They can score some points and shit like that, but USC should not be giving up 41 points to Colorado.
Yeah, he had 403 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. This was the game that I went to sleep on. It was 34-6.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in the rest of the game, but good for Caleb Williams. Shit, man, these numbers are monstrous. I'd like to see it. Look, it hasn't happened since the 70s, and I wasn't alive then. So.
And this guy Miller from the freshman in Colorado. Apparently, there's some story about how Dion and Hunter got in his ass.
Okay.
Or something like, hey, step the fuck up, dude. What are you doing? Because they just believe in the guy. Comes out and fucking 7 receptions, 196 fucking yards.
Oh, shit. All right.
That'll play. I mean, granted it's USC, right? But when Hunter gets back in a couple weeks, now you got 2 guys. Like, now you don't have to rely on Hunter as your number 1 receiver. You can put him in the slot for maybe 30% of the plays, so he's not playing both sides so much, right?
Colorado has one more upset in him when Hunter comes back.
Yeah, 100%.
I think they got one more upset in him.
Oregon, I don't think it's going to be like, well, we'll see. Yeah, we can look at that down the road.
Oregon rolled again, 42-6. That was fine there. Bo Nix, 290 and 4 tutties. He's still in the mix. That head-to-head against Washington will be big as far as the Heisman race is concerned.
I just think look at this game.
I'm with you. I don't believe in Bo Nix.
No, it's not even just that. I mean, certainly not against a better team than Stanford. I'm not looking for him to go out and throw 4 touchdowns, but he's not going to, right? Like they're gonna be in 32 to 25 games, and they're going to be trying to control the ball.
He doesn't
Oregon's
have to.
got a good defense. Yeah.
No, you're right. Hey, look, he doesn't have to.
It sucks, but that's how it works, man.
Somebody in Drinkin' Bros Sports on the Facebook group, if you're not subscribed, just do it. It's free. Just don't be an asshole. It's the only rule there. Had a meme up, and I didn't know if it was true, that said Bo Nix was the successor to Cam Newton at Auburn. That's how old he is. Is he on like year 6 or 7 or something like that?
Yeah, he's the oldest player in college football, I believe.
Shut the fuck up.
His freshman year.
Not counting like BYU and the Mormons and
Yeah.
shit.
Right.
I believe his freshman year, when he was at Auburn, he lost to Justin Herbert's Oregon team.
Yeah, it's Herbert, not Newton.
God,
Yeah.
Newton's not.
It's Newton. He
Did they have the mean route? Did he not back up?
No.
He started at Auburn, and I think he was not out. He was.
No, it was
So was it after Cam Newton?
Yeah. Well after. Yeah, it was 2019.
Okay, thank God.
It's Justin Herbert is
Thank
the
God.
name, not Cam Newton.
All right, thank God.
But Justin Herbert has been in the league for 4 years.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, this is fucking wild,
Yeah.
dude. Next up, Notre Dame at Duke. I watched this game. I had money on this game. It was a backdoor cover on this game. This is one of my few wins this week. So this was minus 5.5. I took it. When they punted the ball down to the 1 yard line, and then Sam Hartman had to drive this fucking team 98 yards for the victory. And keep in mind, he only had 222 yards passing. I mean, most of it was on this fucking drive here. That run, when it was 4th and 16 for the first down, was phenomenal. And here's what I'm going to say for you Notre Dame fans out there. Look, I know you choked against Ohio State. You haven't won since 1936. That's all fine. However, because of how difficult your fucking schedule is, like I'm looking at this. Last week, the week before Ohio State's at home, Duke on the road, who was 17 and ranked. This week, you're at Louisville for the night game. They're ranked. The week after that, they've got USC at home. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a 4-game stretch there. If they're able to win out, they might get in with 1 loss. It's only a 3-point loss to Ohio State.
Yeah.
As long as Ohio State doesn't lose 3 times or something like that. It looked pretty goddamn good on a resume towards the end of the year if Notre Dame's able to win out.
This playoff situation is going to be a fucking mess, I think, at the end.
I think so too. Because how do you not look at Notre Dame where Ohio State scored with 1 second left to win by 3 and be like, all right, yeah, they played with one of the best teams in the country, and then they won all these other ranked games. It'll be tough to keep them out if they win out.
The funniest thing is going to be when there is a 2-loss Pac-12 champion, but their schedule's going to be fucking brutal, like a Washington or an Oregon that loses twice,
Yep.
and they're going to be left out.
Yep.
We'll see.
They're going to be left out for like Bama beats Georgia in the SEC championship.
Maybe.
1 loss, two
yeah.
SEC teams. Or honestly, 2 1-loss Big Ten teams. As long as Florida State doesn't blow it, they should be good to go.
Or what do you do if you have the same thing that happened last year where Ohio State and Michigan are undefeated and then one of them loses that game and then doesn't go to the Big Ten championship? Is the exact same thing that happened last year going to happen for that? Like, I'm with you guys. I think it's going to be a mess at the end of this year.
Well, I think that there's so much depth. A 1-loss Notre Dame team would get in over probably a 1-loss Big Ten team that didn't make the conference championship game, maybe even if it's Ohio State.
But what if it is Ohio State and Ohio State beat them at home?
That's what's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm with you. This is going to be a mess at the end of the year, and I'm excited about it. Next up, Alabama versus Mississippi State. They rolled in this one. You had that game. I stayed away from that. I'm just still not sure about this Alabama team. Milroe had 164 yards passing, but he did have 11 carries for 69 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You can be sure of this Mississippi State team, though. I believe this is their 2nd or 3rd blowout loss. That LSU beat them 41-14. Bama beat them 40-17.
Yeah.
And even South Carolina put up 37 on them. Like, this defense is terrible.
Yeah, and I'm fine going forward betting against them. They're 2-3, 0-3 in the conference. So yeah, fuck them at this point. I just didn't bet this game last week. Next up, we got LSU versus Ole Miss. Lost this game. I had LSU -2.5. Ole Miss drove the field there at the end, and this was a 55-49 game.
Same. So moving forward, LSU games are going to be last possession games. You can count on it because their defense, it's the worst defense I've seen at one of the premier SEC schools, and I don't remember how since I started watching college football. This is one of the worst. I mean, everything about them, they're fucking not particularly athletic. They don't put pressure on the quarterback. Their scheme doesn't look all that great. They're not making adjustments during the game. Who's the fucking defensive coordinator at LSU?
I don't know.
Is it Stevie Wonder? Because they suck.
They suck. 1, 2. The best matchup of all time would be USC versus LSU. No defenses, and then just race to 70 points.
The defensive coordinator is named Matt House.
Oh, yeah. I know Matt House, actually.
He was
Shit.
the linebacker coach for the Chiefs.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe
Man.
he should have stayed there.
Sure should have. Fuck. Brutal. But they play Bob's team this week, and we'll get to that pick here in a few minutes. Iowa State at Oklahoma. Oklahoma ended up blowing them out there, 50-20. We're going to find out who Oklahoma finally is next weekend, and that'll be fun here. We'll have the odds on that in a sec as well. South Carolina at Tennessee. Lost this one. Man. I need to stop betting on South Carolina. I had 2 bets on South Carolina this year, and they both crumbled. This is my own fault, and I have no one to blame but myself on this one. So fuck off. Florida, Kentucky. I lost this one as well. Florida was getting a point, and they're an awful team.
That was insane.
I should have known that.
That was insane. They were getting a point. This is, I think, their 3rd straight loss to Kentucky. Stoops absolutely fucking owns Florida right now. And Kentucky's just a mean, fucking tough, dirty team. Like, they just... I don't know that they could still be a 4-loss, maybe even a 5-loss team this year, but goddamn, like you're not going to feel good leaving that game. You're just going to feel battered and abused.
I didn't feel good leaving this game, Bob. I lost this one as well. Not fun for Daddy here. Florida was getting a point too, and they were ranked. Gross. Missouri versus Vanderbilt. Didn't watch this game, Bob. How did that shake out for your boys there?
They look great. Defense was great. They gave up 2 big plays in the 4th quarter. But other than that, defense is great. Brady Cook is apparently the dude now. I don't know what happened. And then Luther Burden had another 140-yard game with 2 touchdowns. So
395 and 4 tutties for Cook there. Not bad. Fresno State against Nevada. We don't do that shit. Didn't even touch him. So. Not even worth talking about.
Mikey Keene doing the damn thing.
Yeah,
don't care.
Nope, don't care. Not going to waste money on it. Although I might as well have. I lit all my other money on fire and threw it out the window.
They're going to go 6-0 in the Mountain West. Congratulations, guys.
They're not.
Who do you think's going to beat them?
They're going to have to run into Air Force.
That's right. You love Air Force. I forgot. Is Air Force undefeated?
No, they don't play Air Force.
They'll
have to in the
championship game.
Yeah, maybe.
They should rank them. Rank them. Air Force has been ranked before. Rank them again. Dude.
Air Force is 3-0 in the conference.
Let's go, Air Force.
Rank the troops.
Rank the troops, dude.
Oh, they're not.
They sure are.
Real troops.
Troops of the sky.
No.
They're the army of the sky.
Yeah. I mean, they've really been wailing on Sam Houston and Robert Morris in Utah State. So
love it.
Definitely a good team.
Guys, people are afraid to play them. That's what that tells me. Mm-hmm. That's not a reflection of Air Force. That's a reflection of everybody else.
Air Force overs. Let's go.
Look in the mirror, guys. Start playing Air Force. You want to find out if you're a real football team. Speaking of real football teams, you can bet them all on mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros. Get you 110% back on that deposit. We went over math at the top of the show because we love it and we do that here. Put 100 in, you get 110 back. You put 200 in, you get 220 back. You get it. All the way up to $1,000, and you'll get $1,100 back.
Nope. Well, you'll have 21 in the bank.
Correct. 21 total, but their portion is $1,100, which is great. Plenty to bet on here. College football is in full swing. All the odds we're reading from this show will be from mybookie.com. NFL odds are up. Major League Baseball playoffs are up. Speaking of which, Bob, how are the Rays doing there in Tampa?
7-0.
God damn it!
It's 7-1 in the bottom of the
7-1. Ugh. It's not over.
If you're there, if you're inside the stadium, you can hear me right now. If you can listen to my voice, grab as many Hard AF seltzers as you can, because if they lose tonight, it's all over, and then you have to wait till next season. To drink in the stadium, at least. Or you could break in and drink in the stadium. Don't tell them I said that.
You know what the funniest part about this is? Technically speaking, the Rangers should have DeGrom and Max Scherzer in their rotation, but they're both hurt.
Damn, dude.
Could have been a lot worse for the AL.
Sure could have. Next up is drinkinbrostickets.com. If you want to go to any of these events, including the Major League Baseball playoffs, or any of these college football games, or in any of the NFL games, or a rodeo, or a fun concert, or some form of circus that comes to your town, we sell all those tickets on there. It's $10 cheaper than StubHub. Pretty fucking easy. All right. Let's get to this week's picks, shall we? Woo. Starting off with a big one, dude. I hate that this game's at 11 a.m.
It is
this
every
year.
year.
I know it is every year, and I know it's at the State Fair. Every fucking Texas fan has told me that forever. They're planning around the State Fair. You shouldn't. All right? Put this in Jerry World. Let's get fucking wasted. Let's watch it on prime time. This is where this game deserves to be this year. Oklahoma's 12. Texas is 3. Put it in a big boy stadium. Let's go at night. Let's drink like adults. All right? This is Texas minus 6.5. Who you got, D'Anthony?
Yeah.
Oklahoma's put some points up on the board.
Yeah, they're doing well, but Texas has a better defense than anybody Oklahoma's seen so far, so I'm fine. Texas 6.5.
Okay. It's going to pain my soul as well. I am also going Texas minus 6.5. You're welcome, Texas fans. You're welcome, Casey. Everybody who listens, watches, all that stuff. Look, this is the first test that Oklahoma's had the entire year. You and I got to see Texas at Alabama on the road in a nasty environment down there. You're fine here with Texas. I think they win this game by a touchdown. I love that the fact that it's at 6.5 right there, so I don't have to buy a half a point or anything else like that. Because let's say it is a one-score game, great. Like, this is a bet that I make as soon as the show is over. I'm in on Texas minus 6.5. I don't know about the over-under of 60. Texas has got a decent defense.
I love the under.
The under. Okay, great. Because I was like, hey, dude, Texas has got a decent defense.
And you know who also has a really good defense this year?
Who?
Brent Venables.
Oklahoma and Texas both have elite defenses, but here's where
Whoa. Let's not say elite.
They do.
No.
Well, we don't know.
Texas is elite. Oklahoma is really good. Definitely a huge improvement over last year, 100%. But I don't know if I would. Look, we're splitting hairs. I don't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
All right. Holding SMU to 11 points tells me that they're a fantastic defense. But here's the thing with Oklahoma and why I love the 60-point under. Against the two competent teams they've played, which are SMU and Cincinnati, Oklahoma's put up a combined 48 points. And SMU's defense isn't even that good. And Cincinnati's offense isn't very good, and which means they were getting off the field quickly. And Cincinnati's defense had to be on the field for a while. Dude, Oklahoma is not going to score very much on Texas, and I think Texas is going to win by call it 10-14, honestly, but it's not going to be a big score.
Yeah, I'm thinking 24-17, somewhere in that neighborhood. 27-20 tops.
I think the game will be in doubt late third, early fourth, Oklahoma could threaten, but they won't ever be able to muster enough to do it.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. So I'm going to take that under as well, and I'm going to take Texas at 6.5 there. Next up, we got Maryland at Ohio State. It's the big noon game on Fox that no one loves. This is Ohio State minus 20. D'Anthony, who you got?
Maryland money line. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can tell you exactly what's going to happen in this fucking game.
Maryland's a fucking tricky little team.
They sure are.
I'll probably take Maryland with the points.
As an Ohio State fan, I'm going to tell you this right now. Put your fucking house on Maryland in those points right now. There is no fucking way Ohio State's going to cover 20 in this game. Maryland brought back pretty much everybody and then just got a little bit better than they did last year. This team gave Ohio State fits last year. To his brother, dude. Nobody's talking about him because he's stuck in Maryland. But they're 5-0. He's got 1,500 fucking yards passing.
Not stuck.
And 13 TDs. No, I know he's transferred there from Alabama.
No. People are trying to get. He was a hot commodity in the transfer market.
Was he?
People were trying to prime away, but he wanted to stay in Maryland.
Well, good for him, and I understand why. Because Alabama treated him like shit. He left there, and then he went up to Maryland, and he's a pretty good goddamn quarterback, man.
Well, he's there because of Loxley.
I watched the entire game last year when they played Ohio State. He was really fucking good, and there's no way with Ohio State's quarterback that they cover 20 points. I think Ohio State would be lucky to win by 10 in this game. 14 tops if they have a great game. I know Ohio State's defense is much improved and pretty fucking good this year. It doesn't matter. There's no way. There's no fucking way. I would love it. I would be happy to lose this money if Ohio State beat them by more than 20 points, but there's not a fucking prayer. So I'm all in on Maryland and the points in this one, but Ohio State probably wins by 7-10 at the end of this. But it's going to be a close game. People's assholes are going to be puckered, including mine. Next up, we got LSU, who is still in there. They kept him in there at 23. I feel like it was for this week for ESPN.
I mean, they lost a close game on the road against another ranked team.
But they gave up 90 points in that game.
That's just how they do, baby.
I know. They're playing Missouri here. Now, here's what's interesting. The spread opened up yesterday at 6.5 for LSU. It is now down to 5.5. So that means a lot of people are betting on Missouri. D'Anthony, who you got in this one?
I'll take Missouri 5.5, plus 5.5.
Okay. Bob, who you got in this one? Since this is your school and they are inside the top 25, 5-0.
I'm a homer. I don't care. Missouri is winning this fucking game, and I'll tell you why. I'll give you an actual semi-objective, logical reason why.
Okay.
Both offenses very good. Unquestionably, LSU's offense is probably better actually, even. But both offenses are very good. Both offenses have a ton of weapons. Our defense is better. Someone's gonna have to get a stop or a
markedly better.
Yeah.
Not just defense, but your special teams are not. Special teams in general and execution so far, far less penalties as a team so far this year. So good, better coaching, it sounds like, right?
Yeah. I'm not a fan of that fucking dickless wonder down in LSU. So, yeah, I mean, look, this is a big, big game for Missouri, Bob.
I can tell you that this is as hyped as I've ever seen the fan base in the last decade. The game's obviously sold out. It's 11 a.m., but people are so... The program's been so dead and annoying for the last 5 years that everyone's hair is on fire. The crowd's going to be in it, even though it's an 11 a.m. game. But really, back down to objective reasoning. Aside from the fact that it's a home game, our defense is better. Our defense, if you had to pick one defense to get a stop or a turnover late in the game, it's Missouri.
Yeah.
Smash the over.
53 degrees there. It's going to be 64.5. That's the over there, the over-under in this game. And because it doesn't make any sense, and I don't know that LSU has anything to live for, except for scoring 900 points, I'm going to take LSU in this game minus 5.5.
I will say this: I was rooting for them last week because I feel worse about it coming off a loss. Brian Kelly doesn't lose 2 games in a row.
I agree, and I hate Brian Kelly, and it's hard for me to say, but I think they've got nothing to live for here. Brian Kelly does. Because, I mean, shit, dude, you're in your first year with that fake Southern accent. You're halfway through the season. You'd be 3-3 at that point. The fan base would fucking tear him limb to limb down at LSU. So for that simple reason, I'm just going to take LSU here by a touchdown. But I think it is a touchdown game, and I think it's late. I think Missouri ends up driving to try to win the game, and then we'll see what happens.
I will say, if you want the safest bet in this game is the over.
Yeah, 64.5, you're fine. Missouri might score 64.5 on their own because LSU's defense is that fucking bad. But I don't know. The fan base in LSU, if Kelly loses 3 fucking games in week 6, you're fucked down there. I mean, they're going to riot. Next up, we got Washington State, the team we hope wins the national championship this year. They're still undefeated.
Who's the we in that state?
All of us. This is the Pac-2 team.
I don't give
We're
two
down
fucks.
to the Pac-2. I'm cheering for you.
I couldn't possibly care less about it.
I'm cheering for you. This is Jared's girlfriend's team. They got the Cougs there.
I'm actively rooting against them now.
I'm not, dude. I want to see them win the national championship and then stay in the Pac-2 forever. This is Washington State at UCLA. UCLA minus 3.5 in this game. Who you got?
UCLA minus 3.5.
All right. Because this is probably our national championship winner this year in Washington State, I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take Washington State of the points. They in all of college football, they have the most to play for this year, them and Oregon State. And I'm rooting for them. I want them to win the national championship. I want all the things. We got invited up to Washington State. I said that, no, we would not be going there ever. Because this team won't get close to a title. But if they do this year, we will go to, what is it, the Little Apple? What do they have? What's their fun thing at the end of the year when they play Washington? That's it. We'll go to the Apple Cup, all right? If they're undefeated and Washington is undefeated, that would be a real fun game. We'll go up there for that.
I'm not going to that.
You sure are.
No,
You're going to have an apple in your mouth like a little piggy, and we're going to do it. We're going to have fun.
I'll go to Montana. I'll go to Missoula, which is a couple 100 miles away to the east, and I'll fucking wave to you. From there. If you can see me, you can see me. If not, you can go fuck yourself.
I would like to party at University of Montana. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Well, yeah.
But I'm taking Washington State. I'm all in on them this year. They win the national championship. Next up, we got Virginia Tech against Florida State here. Florida State minus 23.5. Ooh, sorry, I choked on that spread there. That's a lot of points. I don't know. This Florida State team, man, they keep winning, but barely. And it's very strange to watch. That BC game was fucking odd there.
I don't think they're great against the spread.
I don't think so either. I'm not going to touch this game. There's plenty of other great games already to bet on. I'm good. Like, I don't need to fuck around with this. I lost so much fucking money on that Florida State BC game that's I got a little bit of PTSD on them. I can't bet on them for a couple more weeks. So I'm going to sit this one out. Next up. You guys weren't here. I'm going to give a shout out to Aiden and the boys down at Texas A&M. This is Alabama at A&M. The fraternity called. It was Sigma Chi and then another group over there. I forget who it was. And they were like, hey, do you mind if we buy some hard AF seltzers off you guys? I said, no, we're opening up in Texas here in about 4 weeks.
The group is called Aggie Men's Alliance.
Oh, it is? Okay,
yes.
Great. So the Aggie Men's Alliance was here. And they said, hey, can we buy some cases off you? Dan and I said, no, we would love to give them to you in hopes that you guys will cheer louder at the game and possibly take down Alabama, storm the field, and have a fun evening full of hard AF seltzer. They brought 2 trucks and they took 100 cases. So if you're
5
at
trucks.
this game tomorrow, 5 was it 5?
Yeah, 3 other dudes showed up after we left, so it took them 5 trucks to get all that shit out of here.
My neighbor Michael called me all the way home. He goes, hey, man, my son and his friends just wipe you guys out. I said, no, we told them they could. And so they did. So if you go up there, there's 100 cases of hard AF seltzer there, and it's free. What was it? The Aggie Men's Alliance has got the other ones?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And this is Alabama minus 1.5. If this was a night game, we would have done a live show from the thing, but this is not. Who you got in this one?
I'm inclined to go with A&M here.
Why is that?
Because I feel like there's going to be, and I felt like this for a couple of weeks now with Alabama, but I feel like there's going to be a game on their schedule somewhere. I thought for some time it might be LSU. Maybe it turns out to be Tennessee in 2 weeks from now. Maybe Kentucky down the road. I don't know. But I feel like there's going to be a second and possibly the third loss for these guys.
Okay.
Because they're just not, they don't look good.
I'm
Even the
you.
games they win, they don't look good. And these are tough teams. I mean, you're Alabama still, so you're a weakened entity, but you still have a target on your back because you're a prestigious university, and you still got Nick Saban and all this stuff. I feel like this is probably going to be one of the ones I'm taking A&M money line on this.
Okay.
I think they're going to win the game.
This is one of those where Alabama is winning week to week, but they're not moving up in the rankings. I mean, they're still at 11 down here, and it's because they don't look great. So I'm with you. However, betting on Texas A&M again for some fucking miracle, it's tough, man. I'm going to take Alabama minus 1.5, and because I think it's probably a field goal game, and it'll come down to the end. I'm going to go ahead and give a weird prediction. I think A&M misses a field goal at the buzzer, and that's it, and Alabama wins, and they cover this spread. Strange, but I'm going there today. Next up, we got Syracuse at North Carolina. This is Carolina minus 8. Who you got, D'Anthony?
This is a better game than it should be, I think. But it's in North Carolina. I'll take, 8 is a weird number. I don't like that.
I don't either.
I don't think I'm going to bet this.
Me neither. I'm out.
If it was 7, I would take it down to 6.5, but I'm not going to. I mean, I'm cutting too deep into my money if I go down too far. So
I agree. I'm staying away from this game.
I don't think they're going to get beat by Syracuse, although they are a spooky team sometimes. Mostly up in upstate New York, not on the road, but yeah,
they do have a win.
Eight's a weird number.
Syracuse does have a 2-touchdown win at Purdue
this
year,
which is a tough place to play as well. To your point, yeah, I just think eight's not the right number here.
No, and this is probably a 1-score game. Drake May made the wrong decision, homeboy. Should have came to Ohio State. 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions this year. Strange, man. Yeah, I'm not going to bet this. It wouldn't surprise me if Syracuse upset them too. It's one of those games where there's a million others to bet on. Luckily, the deal we signed with mybookie.com, we don't have to pick every game. So that way I'm not telling you to fucking throw your money out the window because this is tough, man. I think this is probably a one-score game, and it could go either way here. That's what that 8 is for. Obviously, Vegas is saying, oh, hey, go ahead and take it. And then it'll be a 21-14 game, and you'll lose by 1 fucking point in this one.
That.
Next up, great game as well. Stacked Saturday this week. Kentucky at Georgia. Georgia minus 14.5. After Bomb's big boy statement there that this is the meanest team there is, who are you taking here? This is at Georgia. It's a night game.
14.5 is a lot for this game.
I did it last week. For Georgia Auburn, and they sure as fuck didn't cover. And I think I'm going to do the same thing.
I mean, that was
week.
on the road, but yeah.
It was, but.
Yeah, I'm inclined to buy half a point and go Kentucky plus 15 here.
Yeah, so for me, the 14.5 is fine. That's just over the threshold. I think, Georgia could win by 2 touchdowns, sure. But Kentucky blew the fucking doors out of Florida. I mean, they just absolutely obliterated them last week. So I'm in with this. I'm going to take Kentucky with the points here at 14.5. I think Georgia probably ends up winning. Don't want to, piss off any Georgia fans here. I think you guys end up winning this game. But I'm going to take those points. I think it's too many points right now. And they're not really covering. They didn't cover against South Carolina, and they didn't cover against Auburn. It's another weird team. And yeah, I'm going to take the points on this one. Next up, we got Michigan at Minnesota. This is Michigan minus 19. Who you got here, D'Anthony?
I'm not going to bet this.
I feel like Michigan has covered the entire season this year.
Yeah, but at Minnesota, I feel like Minnesota can keep this game close.
They could.
McCarthy's not a world beater or anything. He's a good game manager, which is fair enough. They got 2 great running backs at Michigan and a good defense, so they got an inside track on the fucking CFP here. But this kind of game for 19 points, I don't think so, bud.
I'm going to take Michigan in this one. They've covered pretty much the entire year here, and they've looked pretty goddamn good. I haven't lost with them yet, so I'm going to stick to that. It's probably a 3-score game. I think they win by 21 or plus.
I think Michigan. I think this is a gift that it's not even 21. Northwestern put up 37 on Minnesota and beat them. They were only able to muster 13 points against both North Carolina and Nebraska. I think Louisiana almost beat them last week. I'm talking about Minnesota.
Yeah.
I don't know. Michigan's kind of a machine.
They are. This is probably a 42-14 game in this one. The over/under is actually 46.5 here. So I'm with Michigan. I think it's fine at 19, but I understand the trepidation. I'm not betting that many points. Next up, Notre Dame. Talked about this earlier. Brutal schedule. They're at Louisville, on the road. Another night game on the road, and in prime time. ABC. This is Notre Dame minus 6.5. Who you got?
Notre Dame needs to prove that they're a real football team before I start betting on them. That's what I got.
They don't have that 98-yard drive at the end. They don't win that game.
And that's the week after, right? They should have won that game handling. That's the week after being in complete control of a game and then blowing it.
At the end.
Not just by being beat by a better team or being beat by better offense than your defense, but by incompetence, right? Like it's fracturing. The entire roster and clubhouse must be fracturing, right? To barely escape like that.
They pulled it out last week somehow.
Yeah, I know, but that's not the kind of confidence boost you want going into a fucking ranked game. Not that Louisville's a fucking world beater either, but no, I'm not. Notre Dame has to re-earn my fucking trust and attention at this point. Is how I feel about that.
I'm going to take Notre Dame minus 6.5. I rode with you guys last week at 5.5. Now, I was shitting my pants at the end, full disclosure. I mean, there was definitely clumps of shit in my pants. I mean, it was heavy, hard clumps of shit in my pants. But you covered, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Money is all we really care about. Even as an Ohio State fan, I'm telling you to take Maryland plus the fucking points this week. I'm going to take Notre Dame. I think they win this by at least a touchdown, if not more, and I think you're fine. The dangerous thing, too, again, if they beat USC next week, this fucking brutal schedule, playing all these great teams, all these ranked teams early on can really strengthen you towards the end here. So if they're able to kick the shit out of Louisville and get a win against USC, they could backdoor into the playoffs, Notre Dame. It's not over for you guys yet. And I'm taking you this week. I rode you last week. I'm going to ride you again this week. Next up, we got Arkansas at Ole Miss. This is Ole Miss minus 11.5. Who you got, D'Anthony?
I don't know much about Arkansas.
Not great this year. They got steamrolled a few times already. They're 2-3. Who are their 3 losses to?
So they blew
BYU,
a pretty big lead to BYU.
LSU.
Gave LSU a game.
And gave the Texas A&M. It was 34-22 in that.
They Pittman is on the hot seat. Their fans don't really like their coordinators. KJ Jefferson is I don't know. People are pretty mixed on him, the quarterback.
Ole Miss is coming off a big win at home. Fans stormed the field and all that stuff. This is at home again at night. I'm going to take Mississippi minus that 11.5. I think they win by 2 scores.
Yeah, I'll take that. Arkansas is down 3 in a row, and just
nothing to live for.
They can't seem to string a full game together. If I'm looking at these stats and box scores and shit like that, they just can't string a full game together. So I think that's fine. 11.5.
Next up, we got Georgia Tech at Miami. This is Miami minus 21 points. I'm sure Hard Rock Stadium will be packed, as it always is for the University of Miami.
This should be Miami minus like fucking 30.
Yeah.
Why is it not?
I don't know. Not real sure.
Very weird.
On that one, but I will buy a half a point in this one for safety. I will take Miami minus 20.5 in this. Look, so far so good for them. Let's look at Miami's schedule. They actually play anybody this year? Or is it all just
well? They're in the ACC.
Well, they beat the shit out of A&M already.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the second week, and what's weird is I gave up on A&M after that, and that was their only loss.
Last 2 weeks have been nobodies.
Yeah.
They have a rough schedule. They go to North Carolina. You get Clemson, who's still talented, and then
Florida State.
At Florida State.
And then Louisville.
Yeah.
All right. So you'll find out who Miami is this year. At least they play some people towards the end, and we'll find out who this team is. Not this week. I think they win this week, and I think you're fine. Just buy a half a point for safety there. That's my suggestion. Georgia Tech hasn't been good since the fucking 80s, probably. So, sorry about it. Nothing you can do. It's a fucking engineering school, all right? What do you want out of these kids? They're the brightest and best Asians in the biz down there at Georgia Tech. They're not fucking suiting up and knocking people's dicks off on the football field, all right? Next up, we got Fresno State at Wyoming. A bunch of Wyoming fans were in here. They were passionate. They left some of their Wyoming beer in here. I drank it, by the way, and it was very good. But beers don't win football games. This is Fresno minus 6.
Yeah. I mean, if Fresno's going to be in the championship via Air Force, they're winning this game. I don't think they're going to win it by 3, so I'm fine with this.
Okay. What do you guys got here? This is typically your world. Fresno State is snuck into the top 25 here. Who do you got in this game?
Hate this game.
Wyoming's pretty decent, man.
Laramie is...
It's a weird spot.
It is.
Not only is it the weird spot, I believe it's the highest elevation in the NCAA.
In the world, somebody said.
Yes, on Earth.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't love... Fresno could win. I don't like any line. They're not going to cover.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. Look, I watched the Texas-Wyoming game. It was pretty fucking close for 3 quarters there, and then Texas pulled away at the end. This is a trap game probably for Fresno State.
Wyoming has beaten both Tech and App State at home this year, and they were dogs in both.
Okay, yeah. Take Wyoming plus the points here, I think. Why not? I'm proud of those guys that came here. They got so fucking wasted, they blacked out in the parking lot next to each other. Like 2 criminals with X's over their eyes in a fucking 1950s movie.
Did you put coins on them?
I thought about it.
Should have.
So hot.
Crossed their arms on their chest?
It's like 108 degrees, and I was like, how the fuck did you guys black out in this?
Just cover them in fire ants.
They looked like real ranchers, though. They like real fucking cattle.
This is what people look like up there.
I guess, man. I guess. Next up, second favorite team in the NCAA this year, Oregon State at California. This is Oregon State minus 9.5.
No way.
No, I am with you.
I think that Oregon State is a pretender. I think they took advantage of a fucking injured Utah team.
They had a pick 6 in that game for a touchdown.
Yeah, in their spooky home stadium. And I don't think the Cougars are good either. And they got beat by them.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
So I watched the Friday night game. This is DJ Ukulele here at quarterback for Oregon State. He was just as awful as we remember him. And that was a Utah team who was going 3 and out every fucking drive there.
It doesn't matter. They run the ball so well.
I know. Look, that's what I'm saying. So for that, yes, they will probably win this game. Do I want to watch it or gamble on it? No, I sure don't. But good for you guys. I'm still rooting for you. I think it would be fun to see you versus Washington State in the championship of the world. That would be great. But I doubt that's going to happen. Last but not least, Arizona at USC. Another monstrous spread here for USC. 21.5. I feel like that's the spread every single week for USC is 21.5. We talked about Arizona earlier. With 3-2, they've beaten the spread against most of the fucking teams they played. What do you think is going to happen here?
They have not beaten the spread in the last 2 games.
Who was it last? Or was that Arizona State? Both of those schools I keep confusing.
They did not cover against Arizona State and obviously did not cover against Colorado.
They covered against Washington last week.
Yeah, what are you looking at?
I think you're looking at the wrong thing.
I'm talking about USC.
No. I'm talking about Arizona.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. So it was 31-24 against Washington last week. They covered that one. They also covered that Mississippi State game. Mississippi State was ranked, I think, during that. But look, 21.5 is too much for this fucking team. I'm gonna take Arizona in this game.
I'm not going to take Arizona, but I do think the under is pretty attractive because the way Arizona's stayed in some of these games, and especially in the Pac-12, is to keep the scoring down a little bit. Like keep it in the fucking 60 total points range instead of the 70 to 80 total points range. So the over-under 72, I'll take that under.
And look, they held the guy who might be in the lead for the Heisman Trophy to – it was a fucking close game last week. It was 31-24. Going up against Caleb Williams, so what's the diff here? I'm going to take Arizona plus the points in this one for sure. I'm going to stay away from that over-under. 72? Yeesh. That's a big boy number, isn't it? Some say that's too big.
This could be, honestly, there's a okay chance this is a Pac-12 after dark upset, I think.
Oh, for Arizona?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. Look, I love Caleb Williams. I wish he was our quarterback for the Falcons or Ohio State. I think he's amazing. But this team is fucking weird. I don't like teams that don't play any defense like this. Lincoln Riley has never decided to get a defensive coordinator his entire career. Not real sure why. So fuck them. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they lost. That'd be great. The only thing it would take away from, though, is next week's USC Notre Dame game. So I'm sure some call will be made down on the field to make sure that happens and they're both ranked. But other than that, yeah.
There's nothing that USC can do in this game to not be ranked at the end of it, unless they get beat by like 80 points. They're ranked 9th right now, and they've looked really good this year. They've got the Heisman front runner. They would have to lose by like 30 points or more.
No, I know.
Like they'll be ranked.
They'll be ranked, but
whether they're top 10 or not, TBD.
Right. If you lose, you lose here. Speaking of which, damn it, dude. We're in the 9th inning here. With
Bottom of the 9th.
Rays. Bottom of the 9th.
2 outs.
1 out. Oh, is it 2 outs now?
Yeah, now it's 2.
All right. I'm going to have to grab a can of Hard AF Seltzer here and drink it live on air. You can cut to D'Anthony if you want real quick here, because this is our last Hard AF for the Rays this year. If they lose this game and don't come back and score 7 runs, there's no more Hard AF Seltzer to keep it going, in the Tampa Bay Stadium.
Yeah, another bad game for the Rays. Honestly, the hitting just wasn't. I mean, they've got 8 hits, but haven't been able to string anything together. Only 3 at bats with runners in scoring position this entire game. Like, you can't win games like that. And then on the other side, the Rangers are playing to their strengths. They saved Eovaldi for the second game. It was a smart move. Kind of got away with one in the first half, and then now they're playing the bullpen stuff. Leclerc is back in. He saved the game last night. He's saving it tonight. They've moved Chapman out of the closer role, apparently. And he's a setup guy now. Not tonight, but last night.
Okay.
So that's interesting. But, yeah, I mean, Adolis Garcia hit a home run like 7,000 feet. That dude's a fucking monster. Yeah, the Rays just didn't have it this year.
So
But
the
not-
Rays have second and third right now, D'Anthony. I wanna point that out.
Hmm?
Is the game there? Can you pop it up there? Not on our screen on YouTube because we'll get banned. But I will have the last drink of Hard AF Seltzer with these guys if this is it. Indeed, it. Weird. The playoffs just started 2 days ago, and they could be out in 2 days.
Yeah.
Don't feel real great about that. And in the Marlins tonight, if they lose to Philadelphia, I see you got your Mike Schmidt jersey on tonight. Then the Marlins are out as well. I don't want to call it a Hard AF Seltzer curse. No, we've made it to the playoffs. We weren't expected to. Okay, we superseded expectations.
The Rays were absolutely expected to make it to the playoffs.
Shut up, Bob. Shut the fuck up. God damn it, we did it, dude. We did it. Now it could be over here.
In play, what's happening?
It's right there. Top.
Have the game up.
He's got the
But
game
it might
up
be a
right
little
there.
behind, I guess.
What do we got there, Bob?
Looks like second and third, one out, bottom of the ninth, 7-1 Texas.
Let's hit a ding dong. Give me
Ra-
a fucking homer, bro.
The Rays 6-hole hitters up, 2-1, favorable count.
Yeah, let's go. Look at that. He was swinging for the fences, Bob, wasn't he? He was going for that 3-run jack.
Can't hit a 6-run home run, man. You got to keep the
Yeah.
line moving.
And home runs are rally killers. You want to hit doubles. Walks and doubles.
Look at that. It was right down the middle. Fucking fastball right down the middle, and he beefed it. The Rays had the lowest attendance of a playoff game last night since 1919. You're better than that, Tampa. All right? That new stadium's not coming around for another 4 years.
Yeah.
Maybe you're the reason they lost.
Everybody was talking shit about 19,700 fans at the game last night. The fucking stadium capacity is 25.
No, it's small because they tarped off the entire upper deck.
Yeah. I mean, it's a weird stadium. You can't tell unless you go there. Even on camera with a full, with a wide view. This is a narrow view of this part of the field, but behind home plate, it's almost like driving under an underpass or something. It gets lower as you go farther back.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. I mean, it's built as a hockey arena, right? So it's kind of cool, but man, it's not a great place for baseball. I don't think.
No.
I'm glad they're gonna. Yeah, that's too out. I'm glad they're gonna get a
Terrible
new
swing.
I'm glad they're gonna get a new stadium because it is. People in St. Pete do like baseball. We've been to sellout games
great.
there a bunch.
It's great.
But this is just a bullshit stadium.
Yeah,
to be
and it's
honest.
old, and it's from the 80s. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, it was built as a hockey arena in 87 or
88,
some
I think,
shit.
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is.
So they got one strike here, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, 2 men on for the Rays.
Rogers.
And in case you guys are ever sponsoring like a major league team or something like that, here's how it works. As soon as the last out is recorded, give it about 15 minutes, and then we're going to get an email from the Rays saying, "Oh, we gave it all we had this year. It was a valiant effort. We're super proud of our team. Thanks for being a valued partner, and we look forward to another winning playoff season next year with the Tampa Bay Rays." In the meantime, I'm pretty pissed off. If you're out in 2 days, that sucks. That sucks. Sales would have been great World Series. I was hoping for Braves Raves World Series. We're still in it, Bob. What's the count?
Yeah.
1 and 2. Meade up to bat. Their 7-hole hitter for the Rays. Second and third. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Rays down to the last strike of the season.
Last
At
strike of the
least
season.
You got 2 additional games. The Marlins didn't even give you a home game.
Hang on, Marlins. They're not done yet. They're gonna win tonight. Money line Marlins tonight. Money line Marlins tonight.
Meade taking a timeout to mess with Leclerc.
It would have been awesome if he would have bunted there.
What's that?
2 outs, bottom of the ninth.
What kind of name is Leclerc, anyways?
French. In French, it means train station.
He's from the DR, though. I mean, there's no French people down there.
Maybe a Haitian.
Yeah, it could be a Haitian. Yeah.
Oh, it's possible. Yeah, he crawled across the fucking mountain.
Yep.
That's
Sure did.
That's an island called Hispaniola. There's a mountain range down the middle of it. On one side, you've got the Dominican Republic, a lot of baseball players. On the other side, you've got voodoo and chaos.
Yeah. You got Wyclef Jean over there.
Yeah, he's just collecting money.
No woman, no cry. Say, just doing covers.
He
Just
wrote
doing
that
covers.
song, No Woman, No Cry, or sang that song. He was talking about the women that he stole money from in that charity, I think.
Sure did. He stole a lot of money there.
Yeah.
And then his partner in the band, Pross, just got sentenced to 20 years in federal prison.
For giving Obama like $28,000 or some stupid
No,
shit?
28 million.
$1 million, I'm sorry.
28
$1,000,
million.
what the hell, yeah.
Yeah, and that's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Well, we'll see what fucking Van Dam or whatever that kid's SVB. What's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Scott Van Bam.
Yep.
I think is his name.
Frankman Fried.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Anthony?
Yeah. SBF. That's
Yep.
it.
Yep. We'll see what he's
See
got.
what he gets.
What do we got here? 2 strikes, Bob?
This is the longest at bat and hit. We're trying to sign the fuck off here. This guy won't strike out.
Guys, we're on the comeback. We're rallying right now.
Yeah.
We're not praying for a strikeout.
Put
here.
your rally on.
I'll go for 4 fucking hours tonight.
As soon this at bat is the last one I'll watch.
No, you
promise
won't.
you that.
You're in
over.
it for life, dude. This is it. Oh,
Kind
look
of a
at
burned
that.
pitch there.
There's one more pitch. The game's over.
What do we got here? What's the count?
It's
Full count?
Full count?
Full
McClurk
count.
on his 23rd pitch of the inning. Now, why?
Oh, look at that. They just cut to the locker room.
This
They've
is-
already tarped
you-
it. They're
You
partying.
cannot pop champagne for advancing through the wild card. There's too much champagne in baseball. now.
I
It's fucking
think
dumb.
there's not enough champagne
Watch
in
this.
baseball. I'm a little Champers fan.
Looking. Strikeout looking. Boom. You're out.
Oh! Did you just call that?
Got him.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Strikeout looking.
I'm reading it off the fucking website.
Yeah,
Oh,
We're
you
behind-
fucking
we're
dirty
behind like
asshole.
17 seconds.
Wash your dirty asshole. Damn
I
it,
had my
man.
rally cap on. What the fuck did you want?
That's
from me?
true. That's true. Texas Rangers have stormed the field. They have defeated the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh shit! Is that Ray Epps?
at home? Gross. Yeah, it's Ray Epps out there.
You're not supposed to storm things, Ray.
I know.
You're gonna get another misdemeanor charge.
Damn it, you're going to get another slap on the dong, Ray Epps. Well, thank you to everybody who went out to the stadium this year down in Tampa and drank some hard AF seltzers. We're on a 2-year deal with those guys, so we might be back unless somebody outbids us. I think that's the contract. So I like how just honest we are. Who gives a fuck? It was a great year, guys, and D'Anthony and I had a blast down there when we went. Hell of a season. It's a shame for it to go out like this. Now you can't go into the stadium and buy hard AF, so just go to Total Wines down the street. You're good to go. Load up, Johnny. If you are a Rays fan, drink it off tonight. I'm with you. Cheers, everybody. We appreciate your support, and shout out to the Tampa Bay Rays. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Week 6 College Football Pick'em Show.